Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. We're getting back at it again today with a discussion of elasticity. Okay, so elastic or inelastic. This goes back to focusing exclusively on the demand curve. All right, so you are not going to need to worry about the supply curve at all during this. Instead, we're going to focus exclusively on the demand curve and how we can interpret it a little bit further. So here we go. The elasticity of something, right? If you think of like a rubber band, right? You think of elasticity. How quickly does it return to its original shape? How does it respond to a change in pressure, right? Something that's highly elastic can change in response to pressure, right? You can stretch it, you can bend it. Whereas something like your table would not be considered elastic, right? Because it doesn't change, it doesn't move under pressure. It just kind of breaks if the pressure is too much. And so in economics, elasticity is a similar concept. It is the response of the consumers to a change in the price of an item. Okay. And what that means is if the price goes up, how much fewer units do people buy? Because we know that with demand, as the price rises, the quantity demanded falls. Elasticity tells us how much, or vice versa. If the price of the product goes down, the quantity demanded rises. And again, elasticity tells us how much does it change. Okay. And there are three questions that we ask when it comes to figuring out the elasticity of an item, estimating it, if you will. Okay. And the first one is, can it be purchased later? Okay. Is it something that I can delay? And medicine, for example, is something that I cannot delay, right? I cannot purchase that later. I need that now, right? Especially if it's like a life-saving medication or something like that. Whereas a sailboat, do I need to buy it right now? If I'm not in total love with the price, no, I don't need to buy it right now, right? I can just buy it later if I have the money later or whatever, right? So goods that have a high need right now, like can it be purchased later? No. These are considered inelastic. Inelastic meaning no, I need to buy it right now. If the price changes, I am still going to buy my product, the product that I need, in this case, the medicine. Whereas with a sailboat, we would say that's highly elastic because as the price rises, I might buy something different. I might wait. I don't need to buy a sailboat right now. I can put it off until later. It's not a need of mine. So if it's a need, like medicine, we would say it is inelastic, or it would have a low elasticity, inelastic. Or if it's something that is a want, like a luxury item, like a sailboat, we would say, yeah, you know what, that is elastic. That's an elastic product because I can delay my purchase. The next one we need to ask is, do substitutes exist, right? These two jackets are substitutes for one another, right? The North Face jacket might be a little bit more expensive than this jacket. I don't know what brand this is, but it's just kind of a plain jacket, right? They both do the exact same thing. Now, one might be better, of course. One might be better suited against the wind, or it might fit better, whatever. But at the end of the day, these are both considered substitutes. And when there are substitutes, a good tends to be more elastic, right? It tends to be more changeable, right? So if I say, okay, well, this North Face jacket, is it elastic or inelastic? We would say that it's likely very elastic because there are substitutes for it. I could buy this jacket and get the same, benefit from it that I get from the North Face jacket, right? When there is a substitute, it tends to be much more elastic than not, right? But there are some things that don't have substitutes. We go back to something like medication or something like surgery, right? Life-saving surgery there is no substitute for that, right? You either need it or you don't need it, and if you need it, you can't go without it. And so there's no substitute for that. That would be inelastic. But when substitutes exist, it tends to be more elastic. And then lastly, does it use a large portion of income? Right? If it uses a large portion of income, it's going to be more elastic, right? The reason why is because large portion of income is noticeable, right? If you're going to buy a plane, a luxury jet or a gold toilet, right? You're going to notice that purchase. And so if the price is too high or if the price changes, you might not buy it, right? But if it uses a small portion of income, you're not going to notice it as much. And it's typically more of a necessity, right? Things like bread and milk and eggs and basic necessities tend to be a pretty small portion of the income. And so people will, buy it when they need it. Whereas large portions of income tend to be more elastic. So how are you going to need to use this? Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you this document, okay, and you can fill it out on your own, right? Basically, you're answering yes or no for these top three rows. Fresh vegetables, can the purchase be delayed? Well, yes, probably. Are there substitutes for fresh vegetables? Yeah, there's frozen vegetables, so on and so forth. Does it use a large portion of income? No. Okay, so that means elastic, elastic, and inelastic. It's fresh vegetables are probably considered more elastic. Okay, this is what you're going to be doing. You're going to fill it all out so you can estimate the elasticity of those three products or of those products on the document. Okay, so another way that we can determine we can determine elasticity is with the total revenue test. And basically, what that means is we calculate the total revenue at each of the points in question. And total revenue is simply price times quantity. All right. That's all you need to do is multiply price times quantity. And so here's what it might look like, right? We need to first calculate the price effect. In other words, how much money did we gain or lose due to a change in price? Well, what if the price went from PB to PA? What would that mean? Well, that would mean that we would lose these people down here, right? We would lose this quantity, but we would gain more money per unit, okay? So we would lose QB to QA. We're selling fewer items, but we are making more money on the items that we are selling, okay? And so the price effect is the area gained or lost due to the change in price. And total revenue, we can calculate exactly how much money we lost or gained, right? If the price went from PB to PA, we would gain more money in the price effect because we increased the price. This distance right here, PA to PB, times QA, price times quantity. We could calculate this area, right? And then we can compare that to the quantity effect. The quantity effect is the total revenue gained or lost due to a change in the quantity demanded. So here we go. Here's our quantity demanded change, right? And I know this is kind of in the way. Maybe if I go back to full screen, nope, not going to happen. So if you look at the bottom of the screen, I can't point at it, but QA to QB. Say that we raised the price from PB to PA. We're going from point B to point A on the demand curve. Well, we would have lost those consumers, QB down to QA at the bottom. We would have lost those consumers. So what that means is we're losing their money. Well, how much money are we losing from them? Well, we're losing the amount that we were paying, PB. So price times quantity, this quantity, QA to QB, times PB gives us the quantity effect. And then we can compare the price effect and the quantity effect with one another, right? And you can just see kind of by looking at it, in this case, the quantity effect is larger than the price effect. That means that we lost money by raising the price, right? See that? See how much bigger the quantity effect rectangle is compared to the price effect? And so if the quantity effect is larger than the price effect, we would say that is elastic because we raised the price and people said, you know what, I don't need to buy it. So the quantity effect outweighed the price effect and the good is considered elastic. If it were vice versa, if the price effect is larger than the quantity effect, then we would say the good is inelastic, okay? So how would we use this? We would look at it and we would say, all right, if I wanted to raise the price from 80 cents to $1.60, what would that mean? Well, that would mean that I would gain 80 cents per unit and I would sell 200 units at that new price. So I would gain this area right here, right? This would be my price effect, right? And you could do 0.8 times 200 and you would find that the gain in total revenue or the increase in total revenue would be exactly $160. We would gain $160 from raising the price. Now, what happened to the amount of money we would lose? Because we know that we would lose money as a result of these people leaving, right? Well, we would drop from 400 to 200. So we would lose 200 people. And those 200 people were paying 80 cents. So we would lose $160. Now, in this case, we would break even, right? This would tell us that it would not matter if we were going to charge 100 or $1.60 or 80 cents. Doesn't matter. We make the same revenue. This is a unit elastic product where the elasticity is the same all the way down. There's no elasticity or inelasticity. It's just an increase in price is the same percent decrease in quantity demanded, and we end up making the same amount of money. So what you're going to need to be able to do, though, is in other cases, look at the values that you're given and determine, okay, how much money is gained versus how much money, how much revenue is lost. And so what we might do and what you're going to see is questions like this. A giant bread company, the CEO comes to you and decides whether or not they should increase their price from $3 to $4 per loaf. He gives you the analytics and says that 75,000 people will buy the bread when the price is $3, and when the price is $4, 50,000 people will buy the bread. Using the numbers, explain what we should do. Well, what is the price effect? If we raise the price from $3 to $4, we are making one additional dollar per loaf. And we are going to buy, there are 50,000 people that are going to buy it for that one additional dollar. That means we are going to gain $50,000. However, if we raise the price from $3 to $4, that means we are losing 25,000 people, right? 75 minus 50, we're losing these 25,000 people that were paying $3 per loaf. So 25,000 times 3 is 75,000. So we would gain $50,000 from raising the price, but we would lose $75,000 from raising the price. So you're going to explain to me that the CEO should not raise the price. Why? Because the quantity effect outweighed the price effect. This bread is considered elastic. Okay? And that's what you're going to do with all of these, right? There's only 4 of them. So your 2 assignments for today are to work through these and then to determine or to estimate the elasticity of these products as well based on these 3 questions. Okay? Reach out to me if you have any questions or concerns. I'll be by my email all day, so I'll be able to get back to you relatively quickly. Okay? Have a good day. I hope you're enjoying the sunshine, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow.